just for BCI. Today's date is the 1st of August 2013. Just for purposes, time is 9:05 a.m. I'm meeting with Pete Jackson at the Sandusky County EMS, 2100 Countryside Place in Fremont, Ohio. And Peter J. Jackson. And Peter, your date of birth, please.
9/13/55.
And the address that you live at. And what's your experience? Well, first of all, what is your role here for the...
I'm a captain, supervisor, and paramedic.
Okay.
Field medic.
And how long have you been a captain?
7 years.
Okay.
And I've been with county for 17 and a half years as a paramedic.
Sandusky County.
Correct. Which gets confused a lot with Sandusky City.
Yeah, I'd be one of the ones who would confuse. And have you been a paramedic longer than the 17 and a half years?
Yes, since 1994.
Okay.
I got on here about a year and a half after that.
Besides Sandusky EMS here, do you have employment anywhere else?
I'm an EMS instructor through Vanguard Sentinel School District.
Can you say that again?
Vanguard Sentinel.
Oh, the security?
No, it's the school name.
Oh, okay.
It's a tech school.
And where is this school?
It's Fremont and Tiffin.
Okay.
The two tech centers join together.
Okay. So would it be fair to say, Peter, that you train other paramedics?
Yes, I train all levels of EMS.
Okay.
First responder up to medic.
Okay. Good. I want to talk to you about this incident that we're investigating. BCI has been asked to assist in the investigation, so we're doing that. And I understand, have you been spoken to before about this at all?
No.
Okay, so this is your first time?
Yes.
Great. I hope it's a good time. If you can, I want to talk about the 2nd of March last year, what you remember from beginning to end. And I may take some notes, but I'm hopefully mostly going to listen to you.
Okay.
And then we'll go back over it to clarify any questions I may have.
All right. As a supervisor, I was called into backup Life Squad 15. So the way we do things here is when there's a code 16, a DOA, whatever it is, I will take over the scene and release the squad so they can get back in service. So when I got there, they gave me their verbal report, which is in their report, and I'm not going to rehash what they told me because you just talked to Kirk.
Right.
And he's the one who gave me the information, but they confirmed death. So basically I was just there to release them, go back in service, and I stayed on scene with the body until cleared by the SO.
Okay. All right. When were you aware, I guess it's going to be the way you guys work here, aware of Squad 15 going to
Yes.
a DOA? Okay. And how would you be aware
Actually,
of
they were called out for a possible suicide.
that? Okay. And how would you become aware of that?
I was dispatched
Okay.
because 15 requested my presence.
Okay. And did they request your presence before they arrived there?
That, I believe so.
Okay. Would you get the radio, phone, both, or something else?
Pager.
Pager? Okay. And where would you have been at, if you remember, Peter, when you get this call?
Here somewhere.
So you would have been at this
I
location.
probably would have been down in the day room.
Okay. But you're at this one
Yeah, it's
in
not
Fremont. Okay.
All the captains are stationed at this station.
Okay.
So I'd have been at 2100 Countryside Place.
Okay. So you're here at Fremont at the time of the call.
Correct.
And you respond, and when you respond, how do you respond? With the truck, or
They have a little SUV that the captains use when they're not riding truck that day.
okay? And can you just take me through specifically what you see as you get there?
When I got on scene, I found the patient laying on the floor as Kirk described it. He was obvious DOA, gunshot wound to the head, pool of blood around him, and then the medics came up and gave me the report. They said they already confirmed it. I can't remember if they had a call into the coroner or if the sheriff's department's doing that. I can't remember. But then a lot of deputies
Okay.
being around, so we just stayed away from the scene, so we did not interrupt the scene at all.
Okay.
And then I released some from the scene, and they left, and I stayed.
Okay. You stayed for all the excitement.
Yes.
When you get there, to the residence, you started telling me of you see the deceased on the ground.
Correct.
Victim
He's laying on his back,
on his back.
or supine as we call it.
Yes, I like those fancy
Okay.
words.
Okay.
I'll tell you when I don't know what
All right.
the heck you're talking about. Okay.
Good.
He's in a supine position.
Correct.
I know you said pool of blood. Can you describe what you saw regarding his head?
I didn't take a close look. It was darker in that house at that time because all the lighting was in a different room.
Okay.
And I think they might have had one floor light or something, a light to the far side of the room, so you couldn't see a clear view of things.
Okay.
So I just, like I said, we stayed out of that area so we didn't interrupt any scenes until law enforcement
Okay.
gave us permission, basically.
Okay. When you're there, then, initially there, how much, besides you see the body, supine, pool of blood, do you see anything else in that room? And how long are you in that room at the time when you first show up?
We stayed in there. I stayed in there until 15's crew left, and then I just stayed in there.
Okay. And where, located-wise, in the room, where were you at?
Right in front of the door.
Okay.
Probably, from me to the wall, or maybe 4 feet away from the victim.
Okay. When you get there, who are the other, I want to make sure I use the right term, Peter, but is it EMTs or paramedics? Who are the other paramedics present when you get there?
Kirk Hunker, who you talked to, and Earl Townsend,
Okay.
who's still waiting.
Yeah, he's still waiting. Sorry, poor guy.
He's getting paid.
I'm glad to hear that. And where are they when you get there?
As I came in the room, in front of the doorway, they were off to my front left, and they approached me.
Okay. I'm going to do a quick diagram because you're referring to a lot of things, and
Okay, I
don't need to give us something to
They didn't give you a diagram of the house itself.
hurt through something.
Okay.
I could. I don't want to use his,
just a standard house or a standard room at that time. I can't even give you dimensions on it.
No, and that is, don't think I even want to get that specific. I'm actually just, just for the sake of drawing, I'm actually going to try to put something together here. It's not drawn to scale, please. I think. I understand there was this is actually the front door. There was a front door here, and then there were some things here. There was a couch here.
The door didn't open. See? No, you're right. It did open that way.
Okay, and then there was the kitchen here on another half wall. If you could, within my disaster drawing here, if you could show me where you were, you can put an X or even, something like that.
I came in here, and you want me to position them also?
Yes, could you put it
They
there?
were both in this area, and like I said, they came up to me, and the body was, I'm just going to draw a big circle, laying approximately right there.
Okay. And the head, the body, where the
Head was up here.
Okay, if you can just draw your best stick figure there. Okay.
Head.
And which way did the body go?
Down. Oh, you want me to actually...
If you could, don't worry, it's not looking for exact, just give me an idea. Okay. All right, and these are the two. Do you remember who was where?
I think I should have made that one bigger.
Is that Kurt?
No, Earl.
Earl.
You'll understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
I believe Earl came up to me first, and Kirk was behind him.
Okay. All right. And do you move much from this position?
Not while they were still there. Once they left, I kind of just followed the detectives around.
Okay. Besides Earl and Kurt, who else is in this room when you get there?
I think it was just the deputies.
Okay.
And I can't remember how many, because they had a whole slew of them there until the sheriff showed up.
So when you get there, there's
at least three or four deputies at least on scene.
Okay. Besides Kurt and Earl, you said there was one in here, or was there more than one, I guess?
I don't even remember.
Okay.
There were at least... I don't remember how many deputies were in, because they were in and out and moving all about. But I know there was at least two to this side of the body, I believe. One or two.
Okay.
I think it was two.
Okay.
And like I said, some were running in and out. They secured the weapon already, and they're taking care of that.
So when you get there, do you see a weapon anywhere around the
No,
window?
they had already secured it.
Peter, would it be normal for you as a supervisor to kind of retrace the steps of Kurt and Earl and make your own determination? You don't have to. They've already told you.
Yes.
Did you
experience enough?
Did you examine the body at all?
Later.
Okay. When you say later, when is later for you?
I don't remember.
No. I'm not looking at exact time. Is it within the time that you're in the house, or is it up when the body's been moved? What is it?
Once law enforcement had heard from the coroner, I believe, so they wanted to go examine the body for the wound pattern, and that's when I went over with the captain, Captain Megan.
Okay.
Because he wanted to, I guess, more in-depth description of the wounds than he would give what he told me because he would use common language, and this, if I use medical terminology, he'd be able to present it better, is what he told me.
Okay. So after the coroner's call, and who deals with the coroner?
Law enforcement must have.
Okay. So
because they were not sure whether it's, all they know is the shooting. They don't know who or what, I guess.
Okay.
So they took care of contacting the coroner.
Okay. And are you aware if the coroner ever shows up?
He did not show up on scene.
Okay. And there's a determination that the body can be released? Okay.
I believe, yes, he made a determination. It was released to the funeral home.
And so let's get to what we were talking about. Captain, can you tell me the captain's name if you remember it?
Captain Meggett. Mike Meggett.
Any way that you could spell that for me?
Meggett.
Okay. And the captain asked you for assistance?
Yes.
Especially in your sense of you're going to use medical terminology?
Correct.
Okay. And what is it that you then observe?
That's a hard part to remember that. I do notice I saw a small hole behind the left ear. The right orbit was basically fractured. He had multiple fractures above and below the orbit. Looked like a larger wound to the right temporal region. So the jaw, the upper jaw, the maxilla was affected, and the entire temporal region was basically almost like a blowout type wound. Let's see what else. I believe the central upper jaw was broken because I believe it was loose, and then nasal fracture, perhaps a nasal fracture. I know some swelling and some freedom of movement of the nasal bone.
Okay. And to do these, to determine this at this point, do you have to manipulate?
Yes, it's a hand-on event, and I'm just trying to manipulate to see what is moving, what is not, for the detective.
Okay.
Or the captain.
And for when you're describing this to the captain at all, to you then, Peter, would it be normal for you to make any report of it?
No, because I'm just referring the information to him, and he was writing everything down for his report.
Okay, very good. Any other observations? I'm sorry.
Nothing that I remember.
Okay. After you make that determination with the captain present, what's the next thing that you would do there? Or that you...
At that point, I backed off again and just waited for the funeral home to show up.
Okay. All right.
And waiting for law enforcement to release me from the scene.
Okay. Anything else that you remember happening while you waited?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it, please.
While I was inside with the body alone, I'm doing the CSI thing. Thinking, okay, if he shot himself this way, or if he was shot this way, since there would be a bullet hole somewhere on that wall, the front wall of the house, because there was a big picture window right here. And I'm thinking, okay, the glass is all intact. There's nothing on the walls at all. So I just stood there looking around the situation, and I spotted a hole in the ceiling right over here. Small hole in the ceiling. when a deputy come walking back in, I pointed it out to him. I said, could that be a bullet hole, or is that from something else? And at that time, they thought, yeah, that could be a bullet hole. So I don't know if they investigated that further, going up into the rafters above the ceiling to find a bullet or not.
Did you see them going?
I didn't see them because they couldn't find access at that point. So I don't know if they ever investigated that or not.
Okay. While you were there, did they make any attempt to determine if that was a bullet hole?
Yeah, I know they were shining lights up there and poking up to see if they could find the bullet itself. But that's when they determined that it went higher up. And like I said, I don't know if they actually found a way to get up there or not.
Okay.
That should be in their report somewhere. And that, because I was going by the positioning of the body, and it just didn't add up that, hey, he would have fallen this way with the gunshot that direction. Again, watching all those goofy shows on TV. So then, just looking at it that way, it would look like the bullet would have entered the left at that angle and gone straight up. But he would have been facing away from this couch in that particular drama situation.
But for you to make some of these, had you been aware at all of what was being said? Because the victim's deceased, so either you're just using his body as well,
right?
His body said.
Yes.
But had you spoken to anyone else?
No, but I was listening as law enforcement were talking to him.
Okay. Talking to who?
The other 3 people that were on scene.
Okay, and where were they when you were in here?
They were kind of, there's another back room over this way. Are they over there, or were they on a couch? Because they kept moving about with law enforcement.
Okay.
And they were taking them through things. I think they might have been on the couch at one time, and then they're just in the back room another time.
Okay.
That I'm not really.
And this is more of what you're hearing.
Right. This is all.
So you're hearing what they're saying.
Right.
And then it's after you've made these. I don't want to.
Actually, when I first got there, they were not in the room.
Okay.
That's right, because they were elsewhere. I don't even know where they were at.
Okay. While you're there, though, since you are there for a while, is that how you become aware of what they're saying?
Yes.
And then what they've alleged? Do you remember how many of these civilians are?
3.
Okay. And do you remember anything about who they are?
2.
Okay.
Just friends
Sex?
of the.
Do you remember gender?
I think it was 2 males and a female.
Okay. And do you recall anything specifically from one of them? From what any of them particularly were saying? Was it more of a agglomeration of what they were saying that you're...
They all coming out with the same story, little variations, but basically they said the same thing about what occurred.
What did you remember? Again, I know this is just what you remember.
Right.
I'm not telling you anything, but what is that you remember?
That they said that he stood up. He had brought the gun to the house. This is their version. He had brought the gun to the house. They had all taken turn firing the gun. And they came back in the house after that. He stood up, was talking on the phone with his right hand, pulled out the gun with his left hand, and put it to his head and pulled the trigger. And they said all 3 of them were sitting on the couch when this occurred, and they just freaked out, in their words. At that point, they moved the body because they were trying to stop the bleeding and save his life. That's their version of it.
Okay. Do you remember anything specific about which way, where he was facing or not from their version?
From their version, he was he had stood up, he had his back to the couch.
Okay.
And that would actually fall in line with where I found the hole. I mean, maybe it happened that way, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
That's not my job.
Okay. But the way you looked at it, am I fair to say, you're seeing it like this?
That's why I
You're
first
thinking
saw
to
him.
yourself,
Because
there should be something
if he would
here.
have fallen like that, but then again, they said that they moved the body to try to stop the bleeding and everything, so maybe they did, maybe they didn't, I don't know. But the smaller hole was to the left side.
Yeah.
And like I said, if that would occurred the way he was positioned initially, the bullet would have ended up in the front wall or through the front window.
Okay.
And that's why I started looking around, because I'm thinking this doesn't make sense. But that was before I knew that they moved the body.
Okay. 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 Good. And you heard them say that they moved the body to try to stop his bleeding.
I think I heard the girl say it.
Okay.
Or was that law enforcement told me? I don't remember that either.
It's part of the information that you gathered.
Yeah, I gathered it from the scene. That's from either law enforcement or overheard the victims telling, or the other people telling law enforcement.
Okay. Anything else while you were there? You said while you were alone, you kind of made this determination. You locate this hole. Any other things that you remember?
No, that's it.
Okay. And what do you assist any other way? You helped kept him out. You helped you find this hole. Was there anything else you remember that stands out of your assisting?
No.
Okay.
That's all the...
Were you present when the funeral home?
Yes, I was. I always stick around just in case they need assistance
Okay.
with body removal.
Okay. And did they need your assistance at all with removing the body?
They brought one person or two. I may have helped them log roll the patient into a body bag.
Okay.
I believe I did. And at that point, then I was done.
Okay. Do you remember anything about... well, wait, let me ask. The funeral home, which funeral home was it that you remember?
Ransom, maybe? Out of Portland, or Castelia. I think it was a Ransom, R-A-N-S-O-M. Funeral home.
Okay.
I believe it was.
Was there anything that remained after the body was removed?
Just a blood stain.
Okay. Had you reviewed at all the report from
15.
Bunker?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I mean, I have it here as more of a copy of stuff, but do you remember at all? You teach paramedics as well, EMS, and you're probably a good person to ask this to. But in his assessments, he makes a finding here. Entrance wound behind left ear, right temporal region, exit wound, gross deformity noted to the right side of the face and jaw. And he said he had, in my conversation with him, he had made no actual movement or manipulation of the body to determine that.
His was visual.
As he makes that, would an assessment of this type be standard for a paramedic to make?
Yes, okay.
And he would be fair to use the word entrance wound.
By our teachings, yes, because the entrance wound is always a smaller wound. The exit wound is always larger because of all the kinetic energy flowing out the forcing out all the tissue.
Okay.
So by our teachings, by everything we're taught, medical field, entrance wound is always a smaller wound.
Okay. Okay. And he would have received, if I'm fair to say this, that Kurt would have received this level of,
Yes.
I guess we can use the word ballistics, or maybe would you use a better word as an instructor? Where would you find training that would give him this ability to know?
That's part of our training.
Okay.
That is part of paramedic training. Actually, all levels of EMS.
Okay. But there's no like
Because
specific area?
No, nothing specific. We're not, it's not a specialty of ours.
Okay.
We're only taught to look for the size difference.
Okay. All right. And that's what he did.
Correct.
Saw the smaller hole in this one. And then he determined that he believed the smaller one would be the entrance.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
We're not forensic scientists.
Right, and that's what it is interesting for me because I don't. Again, I work with paramedics, but I don't. That's a point we wanted to make sure we clarified as to how is it determined.
Yes.
It's not the question you, Kurt, or anyone else. It's determined. Well, how do you guys determine that?
Yes, we were taught that in all, from basic through medic classes.
Okay. Okay. Very good. That's very helpful that you answered it that way. Any questions? Let me find one last. I've been moving things around.
Can relate to that.
Experience, connection. Did you know, I know if I asked this already, did you know any of the three witnesses, other people
No,
at the house? Did you know the victim at all?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Did you would you have taken any pictures on the scene?
Had I had a camera, I probably would have, just to attach it to the run report, just for further additional documentation purposes. But we didn't. I don't even have a camera on my buggy.
Okay. Okay. And while you were there, do you recall anyone taking pictures?
Law enforcement.
Okay. Was there one, two, or just do you remember how many you saw taking pictures?
I think there was one, but I can't remember which one it was.
Okay.
One of the deputies was taking pictures of the scene. I know that.
Okay. Ransom, funeral home. Do you remember if they were taking any photographs?
No, they were.
Okay. And last question, I really don't think I have anything else though, Pete, but do you remember if there be any, your document, you wouldn't have actually prepared any documentation?
I actually did.
Okay.
There's not much on it other than my arrival, taking over the scene, releasing the other squad.
Okay.
Then I think I had assisted law enforcement, and then finally released body release 2, and then I'm back in service.
Okay. Okay. How would I be able to get a copy of that?
Talk to
The boss?